pathway for restoring relationships with each other. So I think tonight's conversation for me is really about rethinking, in this particular case, of rethinking discipline. So I'm hoping to really provide an overview and for some perhaps an introduction to the ideas associated with restorative justice, especially as it applies to school. I might not be an expert, but I'm very intrigued with the philosophy and the practices associated with restorative justice as it relates to students who struggle in school around behavior or around learning issues as well. Restorative justice is about, again, restoring people to their place in community.
So it starts with, this is an interesting question to start with. Why do you start with that question?
Yeah, I came across this as I'm reading about restorative justice, and I think this is a position from which many of us begin. We ask that question, why do people commit crimes? In fact, we ask questions like that in school. Why in the world did that kid behave like that? Why would they choose to, and you fill in the blank for what they choose that has, kind of put them at odds with the rules and regs of our schools. So we oftentimes start from the idea that we want to understand why in the world they commit crimes, why they commit harm against others. And that makes sense. I understand why we ask that question. But restorative justice, I think, asks for a second question, a different perspective, a different orientation. And this is the one I find intriguing. Why in the world do most people actually do the right thing most of the time?
That's a good question.
That's, again, a fundamentally different orientation from which to ask about why is harm committed, why are behaviors that we consider to be inappropriate happening? Why do